people of the World Wide Web. So it is Cypher Sigma here. It is the weekend, and it is, as always, a movie review time. So yes, anybody new to the channel, come across every weekend, mainly Saturdays, as I put out reviews of movies that I've been to see. This one I went to see a week ago, but with my Superman review coming out and my little talk on nostalgia, this has been bumped back. So this is I Know What You Did Last Summer. This is the 2025 continuation of the story of I Know What You Did Last Summer. I didn't rewatch the original. I haven't seen it since the late, or probably about the 2000s, around about the time it came out, maybe a little bit later. I would have seen it as a kid because I think it was an 18 when it came out and I wasn't quite old enough. I don't recall. I may have seen some of the sequels. I don't own him. I do own, I think, the original. I say I didn't revisit it because I wanted to go in with a fresh mind. But yes. So anybody who does or doesn't have a clue, yes, this is set, 27 years after the original one of 1997. Essentially, this is about 5 young kids. They all get together for a celebration party. An incident happens. Someone dies. Then a year later, they are then terrorized by potentially somebody linked to that character, until most of them are dead. The same sort of scenario happens as you've seen, but in this one, then they reference the original one and you have several actors return. So it is by almost first-time director Jennifer Caitlin Robinson. I think this is her fourth directorial, but the other ones look like quite small projects. So this is her kind of big foray into the world. And yeah, I thought it was all right. There is one mid-credit scene as well, which harks to the original. So we'll put the spoiler warning up. So yes, this is obviously the new reiteration of, or kind of the continuation of this story. We have actors, so Madeline Klein as Danica, annoying name and annoying actress part of the way. Chase Sui Wonders as Ava. Jonathan Hewer King as Milo. Tyreek Withers as Teddy. And then we have Sarah Pigeon as Stevie. These are the 5 kids. These are what the story is centered about. Other known actors to come into it. So we have Billy Campbell, the Rocketeer, as Grant. He is Teddy's dad. He's kind of the big shot entrepreneur, industrialist, kind of has the cops in his pocket of the little town of Southport, or where this all more or less takes place. And then we have returning actor and actress Freddie Prinze Jr. as Ray from the original, and Jennifer Love Hewitt as Julie. And yeah, so as I said, let's get into the story. So the story starts off, obviously, these 5, they all meet up. You have Danica and Teddy, who are engaged. You have Milo and Ava, who are past lovers. And then Stevie meets them kind of at the end of the night because her dad's had a bit of a mental breakdown and she kind of was shunned from the group. They all decide to go for a smoke and a drive to look at the fireworks. They all do this. They're all having fun. They get to a point in the road. Teddy is a bit of a moron. The car almost knocks him down until Milo steps in, and then another car comes around the corner and goes to go off. They try to save him. That person in the car, unfortunately, it goes over, and then you have Teddy phones his dad. His dad sorts it all out. The police are called, and then they're basically all told to keep stum. Fast forward a year, Danica and Teddy have split up. Teddy's gone on a bit of a spiral. Danica's now getting remarried within a year. Ava and Milo didn't get together. Ava has a kind of interaction with another lady that she met on a plane in the airport toilets, and then he's picked up by Milo on the way to this kind of shower. Then we have Danica there. Stevie's now her new best friend from the past year, and essentially what is, as she's going for the presents and all the gifts that they've given her for this new potential marriage, she comes across a card and it says, "I know what you did last summer." Freaks her a little bit out. They all think it's Teddy. They go and confront Teddy without Danica there because obviously she has a new partner and feels Teddy went off the rails after what happened last year. He says it not. Then essentially they believe it could be tied to the original one. They tried to get hold of this girl who Ava had an interaction with because she's like a crime podcast person, and she basically details that, she's in town to look this over. So Ava goes to find her, and the others start to try to dig into this and obviously find Jennifer Love's character, but she doesn't want any contact with anyone far away. This is when the killer starts to, actually, I kind of miss that. So after the Danica's surprised in the note, she has a bit of a frantic night. She goes in the bathtub and then she's killed by the fisherman. Her husband is, or potential husband is killed by the fisherman. This stalks, and this is when they start trying to look into what happened. And obviously you hear a little bit more about, I think Sam is the guy who died. Then you go through a lot of kind of, is it them? You go to these spots. The podcast lady is then killed. I'm going to reveal a lot of the deaths here. Why Ava is with her. Then why Teddy and Danica go to the grave, and then they go to Sam's grave and see that there are, because that's where the original ones have all died. Or the original ones from the 1997 movie, their graves, although they go visit and they find Sam's grave, which is conveniently close by, and there's roses on it, so they know there is someone that still has a connection. They ask for some camera footage. The bloke goes off to look at it. He gets his neck slit, and then this person then starts on a rampage trying to kill Danica because Teddy goes off, but Teddy manages to save Danica when she hits her head. Then they all stay together in like a room because they want to be safe. Stevie has to go off back to work because you find out that she works for Ray, who is from the original, and they do manage to, Ava manages to contact Jennifer Love Hewitt's character Julie from the original one, and she basically just says, she kind of was a bit skeptical and then kind of just says, look, you just need to find out who it is, and that's why they've started digging into what they've done to. As they're staying in this room, Ava and Milo start getting it on, and then Ava kind of freaks Milo out a bit. He goes outside to his car, panics himself a little bit, tries to work himself up, and then goes back into the building. It's this security, high-tech building. He can't get in. He goes around the back, and this is when the fisherman comes out and basically breaks his neck, puts him in his car and drives him away, and then he kind of leaves a message to Ava that he's left. They all think he's still alive. Then the girls start digging into the case more. They come across the car that the kid crashed in. It was actually supposedly stolen by the priest. They look into that and they find some stuff in connection with the priest, and they think he's involved. So they go to the police. The police contacts Teddy's dad, who runs it, and Teddy's dad says, no, you need to keep him there and locked away and stuff like this. While this is going on, you have Teddy is then attacked. He is killed, and so is his dad, Grant. They are both killed and then hung up in the morning. The two girls are freed from the police station because obviously they're hung up in full daylight. The police have their jobs busy with trying to sort that out. As they go, they see Milo's car. Milo's dead. It then essentially is the three girls. Ray turns up because he obviously works for Stevie, or Stevie works for Ray, sorry. And he says, you need to get out of here. Whoever's going, it's crazy. They all get in a bike. They all drive off. And then this is when the reveal comes. Stevie is the killer. She tries to kill him. Ray catches up to him. Ray ends up shooting Stevie. She falls off the boat. We all think it's great. Jennifer Love Hewitt then obviously is notified that this is obviously the case, and then she starts looking up and then sees some kind of cute, and she rushes off. As Ava is then taken back to, I thought Danica is obviously stabbed in this, and she falls over the boat as well. Ava is taken back to Ray's bar. Then that's when she realised he has a cut on his arm, which he caused him earlier on when she killed the podcast lady. Jennifer Love Hewitt's character, there's a shuffle, then he gets harpooned and he dies. The end, or kind of the end, the two girls, Ava and Danica, are alive. You see them outside the hospital. They go to the beach. They sit down. They go, yeah. And they go, oh, well, Stevie's still alive somewhere, kind of opening up the franchise to carry on. And then credits roll, mid-credit, you have the girl, the only other main actress that was in the original one. You see her at home watching the article, all this stuff. Jennifer Love Hewitt's character turns up. She gives her a photo, and it's got her face crossed out, which is, oh, yeah, we're gonna do kick some ass. What did I think of this movie? I thought this movie was very average, and it's a 5 out of 10. It's an alright to turn your brain off, go in and watch. There are my first guess. So I kind of went through 3 phases. There was one. So Milo does a facial expression, and I kind of thought that was a little weird. I think his acting in one scene was just a little bit off, and it was caught on camera. But apart from that, straight off the bat, I thought, my initial thought, it's Stevie. Stevie, these sort of ones, they're there of different scenes to throw you off and stuff like this. Like certain casts are in certain one, certain casts in there. I thought it was Stevie. I thought it was that. When we get to the point of Milo gets hanged, I was like, there was no physical way that Stevie would be able to do that. It has to be someone else or someone in League. My mind then went to Ray, Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character, because in an earlier scene, like, he's got cut around the arm. He's one of the only people that you don't see his arms covered up, who is still alive at that point. And B, the gossip girl, the podcaster, she pulls their mask off and says, "It's you." And I was like, she's just come to the area. She's only met Milo and Ava. Ava was with her and Milo was with the others. I said, so then you number it down. And I'm like, well, she's done the research, so she knows Ray, or it is the Teddy's dad, because his face is plastered on billboards all over it. So you kind of have like, there's only 3 or 4 people it could kind of be. Grant gets killed anyway, so he's naturally taken out of that equation. So naturally, that's where I was first Stevie, and then I was like, oh, she couldn't do it because she ain't strong enough, so it's got to be Ray. Turns out it was the two of them in League with each other. Kind of made sense, kind of. The thing with these films, it's always about misdirection and stuff, and that's great if the story is done well, but the story is, I don't want to say cheesy and I don't remember it, but there are just so many loopholes and stuff. Like, as I say, like, the killer comes along, he gets slashed on the arm, so they make it more credible that obviously that's something to look so low. People, when it's a summery town, they've all got short tops, and that isn't some, that kind of rules a bit of it out. There's certain bits where they go to the cemetery and go, well, can we have a look at that footage? And this groundsman's magically like, yeah, okay, I'll go get that footage. A, would never happen. B, they turn up in the middle of the day, it's sunshine, well, it's clear as day, it's raining, they've got umbrellas. He goes to look at the camera, which you find out when she runs it, it is literally like a minute to 2 minutes walk. Literally, he goes and looks at the camera, you flick back, it's midnight and it stopped raining. And it's like pitch black, and I'm like, hold on a second, does time magically travel differently in this world? And there were just scenes like that just didn't fit it. There are bits where Teddy gets killed, and there are like the door, stuff you can kind of foresee. There are, I don't want to say it's lazy. I just think you have to be a little bit clever. And I say there was little bits like that. There was one, like, obviously she stabs Teddy loads of times, wipes off the blade, and then goes and uses his hook. And I was like, okay, that's a bit strange. Maybe there's an underlying reason for that. I kind of like the character of Ray. I weren't necessarily big impressed he was the killer. The fact, like, this event happens, but you have someone's boyfriend who wasn't one of the 5 gets killed. You have one of this podcaster, she turns up, she gets killed. 2 people that don't have any connection to the death, had no interaction with it, are killed first on. And I'm like, well, the killer's motive is always the people that killed someone they love, which you find out Sam, who was in the car, was a love interest of Stevie. Like, they have this misdirection. You go to this priest, and he obviously has something going on. When they turn up, one of the girls, Danica, goes off and sneaks in the information. The priest turns up because his assistant initially dealt with them, and then he goes, "I'll go and get a book." And then Ava's like, "Oh, Danica, he's coming." She hides in the cupboard. The priest comes back and gives her a book, and she's like, "Oh, okay, great." Walks off. I'm like, surely your assistant would be like, "Your friend just went to the toilet. You're not waiting for her." Later on in the film, the police turn up, and as they're exiting the same hall that they went, there's a photo collage just outside, and it shows Stevie and Sam in the same picture. You're not telling me someone you couldn't save their life, but it has haunted your memory for a year, and you're trying to find a killer, you wouldn't walk out of this one and go, "Oh, there's pictures of, like," and then go, "Well, that's Stevie," because they know Stevie, they grew up with him. And there were just loopholes like that, and I was just like, you know, it's just so cheesy of how they tried to connect the dots and just how some of the stuff just didn't work. As I say, it's good going, turn your brain off. I say I've not watched the original, I haven't seen it in a long, long time. I don't have any comparisons. Maybe if you're a fan of the original, you might like this more. Obviously, also Sarah Michelle Gellar returns in kind of this undead dream. Didn't need to be. I found, I say, like Teddy and Milo, I actually enjoyed, and a lot of the guys in this I quite thought were quite good. I didn't think you nearly need to bring Jennifer Love Hewitt character back in the context that they did. Having Ray living there and stuff was fine because it kind of made sense. But then when you, as soon as you know his connection to Stevie and something, stuff makes sense. As I say, near the end when they're all on the boat, Ava picks up a flare and doesn't use it. There's a few little silly stuff, but it's horror films and they kind of switch off. But anyway, that has been I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025. Have you seen this movie? What is your thoughts and feelings? Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I shall see you in the next one.